Hello, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful week of music appreciation. Progress check number 2 is going out for some of you today, the day this is being posted. Others will have their second progress check sent out at the end of next week. As always, if you have any questions about your pacing or anything like that, please let me know. I'm happy to help. It's always a good idea to make sure that you're pacing yourself out throughout the semester rather than trying to submit all of your work at once. That way, when I give you feedback, you're able to apply it to the assignments and then you're not making the same mistake on more than one assignment. Today I want to talk about the travel logs. Now, the travel logs are an assignment that you'll see in units 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, the travel log assignments can be a little lengthy. They're broken up into 4 parts. You submit 2 parts at a time. So parts 1 and 2 will be submitted to one Dropbox, and parts 3 and 4 will be submitted to another. Please make sure you submit to both Dropboxes, not just to one. Also, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm looking for in each of the parts. In part 1, you're going to tell me any of the historical events that happened during that time period. These can also be changes in philosophy, changes in religion. But the most important thing, and this goes for all 4 of the parts, how did it affect the music of that time period? Please be as detailed as possible. Don't just use broad terminology like, oh, and it changed the music, or there was more music being written. Specifically tell me what changes occurred as a result of that event. The second part is looking for any new inventions or changes in technology. And once again, I want you to tell me how they affected the music. In part 3, you're going to tell me which instruments were being used during that time and why they were important to that time period. I want you to specifically tell me why composers chose to use those instruments during that time. Also, did it influence any of the instruments we use today? Can you compare it to any of the instruments we use today? A lot of times the instruments from these earlier time periods were the predecessors for the instruments we use now. The last part, part number 4, is where you'll compare and contrast 2 compositions by composers from that time period. It's really important that you're discussing how they use the musical elements, so melody, harmony, rhythm, tone, dynamics, that sort of thing. Please, 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 once again, be as detailed as possible. Be as specific as possible. Please, once again, try to avoid just generic things like, oh, this composition was really dark and this composition was very light. Tell me why it was dark. Tell me why it was light. What was happening in the composition to convey that tone? So once again, please be as detailed as possible. That's really all I can say in a very broad sense for these travelogues is include as much detail from the unit as you can. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.